So I've got my hands on the brand new Titleist GT Drivers, so let's check out exactly what they've got to offer. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the key features and benefits of each of the drivers, the recommended retail price, and then I'm going to be popping the driver to the test out on the golf course where it really matters. The Titleist GT range has 3 different head options available. You've got the GT2, the GT3 and the GT4. So let's start off by looking at the Titleist GT2. This is Titleist's most forgiving driver out of all 3 of the different head options. It's going to be higher launching and it's also going to provide you with more spin. So the next head option that we have is the GT3, and this has the adjustable weight on the back of the head. There are 5 different weight positions where you can move the weight more towards the heel if you want to play a little bit more of a draw ball flight, or towards the toe if you want to play a little bit more of a fade ball flight. The good thing with this driver compared to last year's driver, the TSR3, the weight is actually a little bit further forward towards the front of the face, which is going to lower the flight a little bit more and reduce the spin. So the last head option in the range is the GT4 range, and this is Titleist's lowest spinning driver head. It's actually a little bit smaller in size than the GT2 and the GT3, which both come in at a 460cc, whereas the GT4 comes in at a 440cc. So it is a tiny little bit smaller. A key thing to note that you can do with the GT4, you can actually adjust the 2 weights. You've got an 11 gram weight and a 3 gram weight. If you move that heavier weight towards the back of the head, you're going to generate a little bit more spin. However, if you want a little bit less spin, you can move the 11 gram weight into the front of the head, which is going to reduce your spin numbers. So the GT, what does GT stand for? Generational technology. So I'm expecting big things when it comes to the features and benefits that are going to be found in all 3 of the different head options. And starting us off with number 1 is the aerodynamics of the club. So how have they improved the aerodynamics? Well, if we have a look at last year's TSR model and we compare it to the GT model, what we will notice is that the GT model is actually a little bit slimmer on the back of the head, and that is designed to reduce the amount of drag and in turn lead to more club head speed. Number 2, proprietary matrix polymer. And yeah, you heard it, I got it right, it is a mouthful, but let's have a look at the back of the head and find out what that actually is. So each of the drivers feature a seamless thermoform crown made out of proprietary matrix polymer. So this is a new material that Titleist have been working on for the past 6 years. It's actually a blend of materials that weighs 3 times lighter than titanium. So you can't actually see where this material is on top of the crown, as it is a seamless thermoformed crown. However, what it has enabled Titleist to do is to actually move the weight lower and further forward towards the front of the head in order to produce more speed and stability. So you may be thinking they've completely changed the material. Is this going to change the feel and the sound of the driver? Well, Titleist are saying that it is still going to sound and feel like a traditional Titleist driver, which we're going to be putting to the test in a minute, hitting some drives. Titleist say that all 3 of the different head options now have a new face, which has a variable speed ring. This means that it is thicker in the middle of the face but thinner towards the outside. This is to maximise ball speeds on centred strikes and also miss-hit shots. Off-centred shots that come out the heel or the toe will now have more consistent spin numbers and lead to a more consistent carry. So the GT model has also improved the graphics on the face. If we compare it to the TSR model, it stands out a lot more and it really frames the ball in the centre of that face. I also really like the look of the head cover, which has kept that traditional Titleist look with the red, black and white. So now that we fully understand what the new features and benefits of the Titleist GT drivers are, we're going to put them to the test out here on the golf course at Walsall Golf Club. We're on the 15th hole. It's a 314-yard par 4 with a slight dogleg to the left-hand side. There's some trees just to the left-hand side of the green. We're going to be hitting some shots towards the green and see how well this driver feels and how well it really performs. So brand new sleeve of Titleist Pro V1 golf balls in one hand, and in the other hand I've got the Titleist GT2 driver. I've got a 5th generation hazardous shaft in there which has that lovely matte black finish, so let's see how well this driver really performs. Oh, it's good. Go on, get up there. Go. I've flown those trees and it has gone down to the green. Fingers crossed it's on. I don't know if it is, I don't know if I'm just begging yardage, but fingers crossed I've made it onto the green. That felt great. Let's go down there and see where my balls are finished up. One that I pulled slightly to the left-hand side, which clipped the trees and just dropped down, that left me around 50 yards. The other shot that again I caught slightly more towards the toe, it hit the fairway still, which was great, which showed it was nice and forgiving. That gave me around 40 yards left into the green, and the shot that I connected with smack bang out the centre, that left me around 20 to 30 yards, which was dead straight down the centre of the fairway, which would have led to a really good birdie opportunity. So let's test out the GT3 now. So before I hit any shots with the GT3, I'm just going to be putting in there the exact same shaft as I had in the GT2, which is the Hazardous Black 5th generation. So there are 4 stock shaft options available for the GT range. You've got this one here. You've also got the Tensai 1K Black, which is a stiffer, more stable shaft design for quicker clubhead speeds. You've got the Tensai 1K Blue. And finally, you've got the Denali shaft, which is a counterbalance shaft designed to help launch the ball higher into the air. Right, let's hit some shots now and see how well the GT3 gets on. That has launched so high and so straight. Again, launching so high. Go on. So I've caught that out the heel of the club and it has gone dead straight. Right towards the green. You can just see it bouncing now towards that bunker. But I've literally hit that so far out the heel and it's almost played that little fade back towards the middle of the fairway. Very, very good. Let's go down and grab those balls up. So I'm so happy with all 3 of those golf shots. They've actually finished in a line, so they've all travelled exactly the same distance, even though I caught one slightly out the heel, which shows how forgiving it is. The other 2 I caught smack bang out the centre and they really travelled, went nice and high, nice and straight. You'll be able to see I've got one just to the left-hand side. I'll move out the shot of the screen. I've got one in the middle and one just off the fairway to the right-hand side. It has left a maximum of 30 yards left into the green, so really good birdie opportunities with all 3 of those shots, and they felt great off the face. Let's see what the low spinning driver is going to be like next, the GT4. Is it going to result in me hitting it further and getting the ball onto the green, or am I going to fall just short of that 320 yard mark? Right, so we're going to keep the same shaft as we've been hitting in the previous models to keep it nice and consistent. Let's see how well this one performed. So a nice high straight shot, that's going at the green. Go on. So it definitely carried the trees. It was on line with the green. We'll see how far up that one's gone. I've hit another couple of shots that haven't been as good, that were leaking out to the right hand side a little bit more. So I do think that this club is a little bit harder to hit, especially compared to the GT2 and the GT3. But let's see whether it's got the distance in its locker. So I've just got down to my ball. It's finished roughly 10 yards short of the green. I wasn't quite long enough to get the ball onto the green, but I think that's me, not the club. But for me, what I would say, the GT4 was very long. It did go around 5 to 10 yards longer than the GT3 did. However, my other 2 shots did leak off to the right hand side and finished in the rough. So is it worth that little bit of extra length when you really do catch it, in comparison to the GT3, which was really nice and consistent across all 3 of the shots that I played, and the GT2, which was nice and forgiving as well? I would say probably not. I prefer the GT3 option side of things, as all 3 balls finishing that really nice straight line. It gave me a really nice carry and total distance, so I knew that every time I was going to hit that shot, they were all going to finish in roughly the same area. Hopefully this video has helped you understand a little bit more about the GT drivers. If it has, please leave it a like, leave me a comment down below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching the video, and stay tuned for the next one.